now we're a bit more specifically about OpSens.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a bit? So you said it started in the 2000s. Can you tell us a bit generally what was the path that led OpSens to today, opening in Minneapolis, and where we are?
Yeah, absolutely. So to give a brief history of OpSens, yes, we were founded in the early 2000s on a fiber optic sensing technology. So what that really means at its basic level is using light to measure pressure, temperature, and other things like strain and deformation. You can measure a lot of different things with a very small fiber and a small piece of essentially like glass on the end. So you're bouncing light off of that and using the cavity length of that to correlate to different things. Pressure is the most, I guess, differentiating value our technology has, but it's extremely small, 200 micron diameter, so it's 0.2 millimeters, and it's pressure sensing was our main kind of technology going forward, right? So we sold this technology into many different industries for a long time. It was oil and gas, it was medical, it was kind of whatever the applications, whatever applications were great for the technology. Because using light to measure versus electrical, piezoelectric and other electrical traditional pressure and temperature sensing, it's better because it's a couple of things. Number one, it's not affected by electromagnetic radiation, it's not affected by high magnetic fields, really rough conditions. The fiber optic technology shines. Also, you're not getting this drift, you're not getting accuracy issues where, something happened to the sensor and you're reading low or high and it's changing. We're measuring a property of the light, not the intensity. So you're either getting the right reading or you're getting no reading at all. There's really no in between. And so that technology was really good, like I said, in oil and gas, because it was robust, long-term, durable, small. And it was good in medical because in the body, it's a more harsh environment than people think, and the materials you use are pretty inert. You're not having to run lots of wires down your sensor and stuff. It's just a fiber optic bouncing light off of a small piece of glass, essentially. So the company around 2010 decided, 2010, 11, 12 decided we're going to bring to the market our own device. We've done the OEM business for a long time. We need to commercialize our own. We think that we can bring a product to market and grow really quickly. So lots of research, and we came up with the OptiWire.
So that's the original.
So that was the original product that OpSens came out with as an OEM. So it's for coronary artery disease. So essentially, when you have you need coronary intervention in the heart, you need to measure, or you need something to deploy the device, a stent, a balloon, whatever. But you also, the doctor needs to know, where do I need to stent? They need to know, should I stent or not? And then,
what's the
how,
extent
where,
of the
whatever. They need to know this stuff. And in the past, it was just imaging, really, that doctors were leveraging for that. A big study came out called the FAME study in, I believe, late aughts, and it showed that using FFR, which is a pressure measurement in the coronary, could highly correlated with improved outcomes over just using imaging, because you can go in and you can assess, do I need to stent or not? You can then stent, and then you can do post intervention measurement to see, did it work? Did I intervene well? Is the flow good now? So we came with a pressure guide wire. So essentially, it's pretty long. It's a pressure guide wire for coronary intervention that works like a workhorse wire. So what that means is doctors can use it to navigate, use it to deploy the device well, but also has a pressure sensor sitting right behind the floppy tip there. And with zero drift, so doctors don't have to worry about having a change over time or having blood infiltration cause issues. And because it's fiber optic, the doctor can go in, assess pre-PCI, disconnect it, and deploy the device, and then reconnect it and do post-PCI all over the same wire, which was novel.
Of course, yeah.
In that it would you can reconnect and get a very high fidelity.
Because the alternative is to pull everything and then put it back again. Well,
right.
You're saying you just disconnect approximately and that's it.
That's right. So we came to market with the OptiWire. It's currently on its third gen, so it's been on the market for about a decade. But of course, there were other applications we saw for this pressure sensor in cardiovascular specifically. So we started working on other products, and we just soon we're coming out with the SavvyWire, which is the first pressure guide wire for TAVR, which is transcatheter aortic valve replacement. So people with aortic stenosis, essentially, have a faulty aortic valve where it's getting calcified, it's getting bad over time due to heart disease. The procedure to do nowadays is to go transcatheter valve deployment in over that and have an artificial valve in your heart. And when you do that, it's good to have a wire, right? You can just do it over the wire, right? You can deploy the valve over a guide wire. You also need to rapid pace the heart during deployment, because you imagine the heart's beating like this, and when you go to deploy the valve, you'd rather have it kind of static rather than doing this thing, so you can make the landing. And so you need a rapid pace, which is just like electrical stimulation of the heart to go into rapid pacing, deploy the valve, and then go back to normal. And then hemodynamics is also important to many physicians. They want to see the gradient between over the valve from one chamber to the other chamber, that when the valve is deployed, that gradient goes to zero, and then they know they've stuck the landing with the valve. So this wire is the first wire that can do all three of those things I just mentioned in one tool. There's currently pacing leads, there's guide wires, and there's ways to assess if you stuck the landing with echo and such. But this wire will allow physicians to do all three of those things.
Including the pacing?
Yes, this wire will be able to pace over the wire. It's a unipolar pacing where you alligator clip on the exposed part on the proximal side, and then distal over here. This is touching the heart tissue, and you can do LV pacing over the wire. So it's supporting minimalist TAVR, right? It's giving the doctor all of these things in one tool, and with the best pressure sensing technology out there, so you're getting the best hemodynamics that you can.
So you said you need the gradient. So would you need to push the guide wire to one side and then pull it to the other to see the thing, or?
No, because in the TAVR procedure, you have a pigtail in the aortic side, on the proximal side, essentially. So you have aortic pressure. Okay. And then this is sitting distal. This is sitting in the ventricle, the left ventricle. So then there's a pressure sensor right behind this pre-shaped tip, right here in this little window.
Okay.
And so we're measuring pressure in the ventricle there, and we're getting pressure from the pigtail. And we're showing that on our monitor. So you're seeing both pressures, and you're seeing the gradient, and the doctor can deploy and watch that gradient and how it moves. And if it doesn't go to zero, or doesn't go down to an acceptable amount, they know, I need to post-dilate or do something to avoid pulling everything out and then realizing you didn't stick the landing. I need to go in and
repeat, or
it's dangerous, or they need to take more time. It's saving doctors a lot of time, and it's peace of mind. And in today's world, doctors are doing more and more of these a day. I mean, several years ago, it was pretty crazy to do 3-4 of them a day or something. But now there are centers doing, 8 or 10 TAVRs in a day. So saving 5, 10, 15 minutes of procedure
It's good for the patient, first of all, less time in the heart, and
good for
also
the
allow to save
hospital.
more patients and great
Yeah.
for the hospital.
So these are our two products. This is the OpWire is approved in a lot of places globally. You know, we're in Japan, we're in Europe, we're in Canada, US. SavvyWire is currently only approved in Canada, but FDA approval is expected this fall of 2022, and then Europe, soon
Yes,
thereafter with MDR. You never know for sure, but we're thinking Q1 2023 for this to be approved on the MDR side in Europe.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah. So and to just close on that, so this is one side of our business, right?
Okay.
We've come with cardiovascular devices because we think that's an area where having pressure sensing is highly valuable to many procedures, and there's more areas we can go. We're in coronary, we're in structural. Structural is a growing market in and of itself. There's mitral therapies coming, tricuspid therapy. Like there's more coming there, and there's more things we can do with our pressure sensor. We think. We also have the OEM side of our business, so we didn't stop selling pressure sensors. Okay. So we can still sell, the individual pressure sensors themselves to anybody. So universities can use them for their test setups. Biosim companies can use them to measure pressure in their models, so we still do that sale. And one of our biggest OEM customer, and this is public, so I can talk about it, is Abiomed. The Impella heart pump, our pressure sensor is in the Impella, in all versions of the Impella pretty much. So that's another area where we're in coronary, we're in structural, and then for Abiomed, that's sort of coronary and heart failure soon, hopefully. It's both of those areas as well. So we're trying to cover all areas of the heart, essentially.
So any company or any individual doctor that has a need for a pressure sensor, but you said even more than temperature and other measurements, they can just buy directly your technology and include it into their device.
Yeah, so we have become experts in integrating these sensors into medical devices, in making the OpWire, the SavvyWire, and future products. We've done it with Abiomed, which is quite complex device and has to have sensors in the body for a lot longer than just a coronary procedure in most cases. And we can do that with other companies for pressure and temperature sensing. There's another example just down the street here in Plymouth, Minnesota. There's a company called Monteris. They have the NeuroBlade system, which is laser ablation of the brain. And our temperature sensor is incorporated in their probe. So that's just another example of, it's in the body, it's done in the MRI suite, so high magnetic field in there. Traditional temperature sensing technologies using electrical won't work, or they fail, or they get skewed, but using light to measure, you don't get this problem. So that's about 20 to 25% of our company is OEM business, where we're selling our sensors to OEMs, and then the other 70 to 75 to 80% is our cardiovascular side.
And how do you see, because you're the director of new business, how do you see the new directions that OpSens wants to take? Like, is there anything that you can share on that front?
I can share. So I can share that we're not stopping. We're not emphasizing one side over the other. Really, our goal is to scale the entire business, and as far as the mix goes, it shouldn't change. I can't say it won't change. Things could happen with when the SavvyWire launches. Maybe it just hopefully it booms and it becomes a huge business. But in general, we're pushing on the coronary side in all the new areas that coronary is going. On the structural side, and then on the OEM side, we're following. We're working with Abiomed to go in the direction that they're going with their new products, and we're not hesitating to work with other companies in neurovascular, in renal, and in cardiovascular, in areas that we aren't and Abiomed isn't. to develop new devices. You know, we're wanting to incorporate this technology wherever it's valuable, and whatever devices that we can, you know, the more devices we're in, the more patients we're helping, right? And it's, you know, OpSens is a well kept secret, unfortunately, because, you know, I didn't, as an engineer, I did not know this technology existed. I didn't know that you could use the light to measure pressure and temperature and in such a small package. So, you know, if I was developing a device that needed pressure and temperature sensing, I would have gone to, you know,
classic,
electric, yeah, exactly. And may have designed around that, and it's maybe bulkier or doesn't perform quite as well. So that's been a big goal of ours, is just amplify, get out there,
get the word out.
Yes, exactly. Get the word out. Let everybody know, like, hey, this technology exists. It's very unique, and there are certain areas where it really shines inside the body in medical devices.
Got it. That's really, really cool. And I agree with you. It's the word needs to get out and let it known.
Yeah. So that's our goal. That's my goal specifically as director of business development, is, yeah, to support our OEM customers, but most importantly to you know, get our technology out into the world in all its different forms.
Got it. I'll probably cut here. I realize that currently everything is manufactured in Quebec. Do you see any openings for new manufacturing sites globally, or is the strategy to maintain all the manufacturing in Quebec?
So we are planning for expansion. In Quebec, we're going to expand because, you know, we're going to need to hit our volumes there, but we know that there's constraints being in a smaller market. You know, operators, assemblers, technicians, supply chain people, the whole organization. It's just a limited population pool there. So we are actively looking at, you know, where can we build new OpSens facilities, but also who can we work with that can help us with certain pieces of the business and help us scale quickly. Because like I said, the time is right now for OpSens to kind of go all in and grow as quickly as possible, and the shareholders are wanting to see growth, and we have the platform to do it. So, you know, we're looking at all opportunities to scale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Yeah.